So now that you've made it through all of the video segments I've done on making a lemon peel baseball, the question you may be asking is, why in the world would I ever want to learn to make a lemon peel baseball? Well, there's a couple reasons. One is a challenge. It's a nice craft, something that is fun to do as well. But also, I think it adds a little bit to the authenticity of the game. You know, back in the 1860s, a lot of the teams, maybe even most of the teams, had players who made the baseballs for their teams. There wasn't a lot of production places yet. Spalding came along about that time, but for the most part, people made them by hand, and it's fun. I think, as I said, I think this ball gives an appearance, you know, a little more of an authentic ball versus the ones that are made overseas. There's nothing wrong with them; they make a great ball, but I just like the way these look better. You can also make different sizes based on the year you're playing. So across here, I've got some examples. Got an 1860 ball, then this would be 61 all the way through 68. It's a little bit smaller, and then in 69 they went to an even smaller ball, and then I'm calling this a 72. It's made after the same pattern as a traditional baseball, but as it's been pointed out, and I've also read that you may have seen this figure-8 type of ball even in the 1860s. And then this is just a modern ball I've got here as a reference to show you. So no matter what year you play, you'd be able to make a ball that kind of fits that particular era. Because once you figure out how to do this, it's just a matter of making another pattern, cutting the leather to a different size, paying attention to when you punch the holes and so on. And also varying the size of the rubber band ball. You don't want this whole 7-inch ball inside these smaller ones that, you know, that just go forever. And also, this is a start. I'm not done with it yet, but I've sold quite a few of these actually. More of a Massachusetts rules baseball type ball. If you read through the Beatles and the sections where they talk about Massachusetts rules baseball, which is different than town ball, they actually have a section on the size and weight of that ball as well. That's got a much bigger range. And so this would be one you'd use in a Massachusetts rule game. It's a much softer core. I've got a lot more yarn than I do rubber band. And the reason there is that they would, what they call soak the player, or throw the ball at the player, if you will, to get them out. So you need to be a little careful on how hard you make these. But this, you know, once you've learned the process for this type of ball, you know, this type of ball is the same process, just a smaller cover, smaller core. You can play around with that. And again, I think this adds a lot to our game. You know, we have a rich history within the BBVA of trying to get games as accurate as possible. And I think having one or two of these around to show people would be great. I by no means can supply clubs for a whole season. I can't make that many. But people that do buy them will buy a couple, 2 or 3. And they'll play with them, but it's also nice to have one in the bag, like I say, just show people what a handmade, an entirely handmade baseball would have looked like back then. So hopefully that's enough to convince you to at least try it. This is the one that we made in the video series. It actually turned out pretty decent. It tightened up real good. Like I say, when I came up that last side, there's just a slight gap. I don't know if you can even see it, where I couldn't pull that all the way tight. But I mentioned I would go back, take that apart, and pull it tight again. But it turned out nice, and I think this would not only make a decent game ball, it's a little bigger than I wanted it to be, but it would make a real nice trophy ball. But you get a silver marker and have players sign that ball. You can present it to a club. So that's another nice way, or another reason to make baseballs is you can make some trophy balls as well to hand out to people. And when you do the trophy balls, you don't have to use this entire process I showed you. They don't have to meet a weight requirement, so to speak, and you could fill them with whatever you wanted just so they look nice and felt right. Save a little money that way, because they're just going to put it on a shelf anyway and display it. So it's a nice way to make an inexpensive baseball to use as a trophy ball. So hopefully you'll subscribe to my videos. If you watch them and have any questions, there's a comment section. Take advantage of that. I'll do my best to check into those time to time and answer your questions. And if you do make a ball, do make the attempt to make a ball, I would love to hear about it. I'd even love to see pictures if you want to share it. You can contact me via the videos and we'll exchange emails or whatever. But I'd love to see the output of the baseball. And again, we have Doc Adams to thank for this. He's been an inspiration for me in making baseballs. Like I say, I love doing it. I make hundreds of them a year to sell to people to use for our club. And you could do the same. Make baseballs for your clubs. Use them in a game. I'd love to hear how they turn out. So with that, again, if you have any questions, hit the comment section. Otherwise, we'll bring this to an end. And I hope you enjoyed this series. Thank you for watching.